Getting a phone call. You're busy. Okay. Rivka, say hi. Say hi. There you go. Okay, where are you running? Let's get in the book. Okay, we ready, my friends? Let's do it. Who's ready to do it? We need to wait for Saturday to finish the phone call there. Okay, let's do it. And what's down drop? Okay. Good evening, ladies. It was gentlemen until Edwin. There was. You gonna open the door for him? Oh, tell him to ring it. We scared him away. No. Oh, I don't know. And then there are a few people are watching us live online. There are a few people watching now, and there are a few people that are not going to make it tonight that are all watching. So if you're watching online, you can say hi. You can in the chat. I say you can say hi on the chat. We'll see who's watching us as we speak. Okay. Today we are going to, God willing, be learning chapters 137 and 138 of the Shulchan Aruch, discussing the ways you need a Shulchan Aruch. Is it over there? Oh, you have it. Discussing the holiday of Sukkot. So we already had a class on how to build a kosher sukkah, all the requirements of a kosher sukkah, and the schach and the walls and the moving. And so we're not going to discuss that. We're going to assume you already built a kosher sukkah when the holiday of Sukkot starts. And we already had a class on all the laws of the lulav and the esrog. So we're going to assume that you already have a kosher lulav and esrog with all the requirements already set, ready to go before the holiday of Sukkot starts. So now we're going to talk about how to celebrate the actual holiday, how to shake the lulav and the esrog, when to make a blessing in the sukkah, etc., all that stuff. So, chapter 137 is discussing the shaking of the lulav and the circling of the bima and what we call hoshinus. And I'm going to add a lot of explanation to explain reasons and stuff as well. So, starts by telling us we take the lulav and the esrog bound together. They're supposed to be tied together. There's different customs with this. And by the way, I do not have a lulav and esrog yet, but this will be this little wand from when I was you know I was holding it from Purim when I was a circus master away from Monopoly. I was sitting in my closet. I have it. If anyone misbehaves, the real rabbis back in the day, they had a stick, right? Whoever doesn't behave tonight. No, I'm just joking. So this is not a very scary stick. This is like flimsy plastic. I don't think I could hurt anything with this anyway. It's literally flimsy, straight out of Amazon. But this will be our lulav. Then when I do all the shaking, I'm going to show you. We'll use this as a demonstration. So the halacha is that the four species need to be tied together, meaning to fulfill the mitzvah of shaking the lulav and the esrog. You don't need to shake it all over. You need to shuggle them. Actually, good. I have this. I have water. Thank you. I had a tea right before I came in. Close the door. I want to close the door because he's cleaning there. Just close the door. So we have to tie them together. Now, some communities have the custom to use a holder, and they are all being held in a holder. That is not the Chabad custom. The Chabad custom is to actually tie them together, bind them together with the leaves of the lulav. Now, you could tie it together with anything, as long as it doesn't separate. There can be no separation between the different species. So our custom is we take leaves of the lulav and we use three little leaves on the bottom that hold the actual. So let's say this is the lulav. Okay, here's the bottom. The last is a little bit empty, and then on the bottom, at this where your hand would be holding it, we have three like straps. Then we have two more on the actual lulav itself to hold the spine tight, but hidden behind the leaves. So if the leaves go up till here, because remember, your lulav needs to be taller than the hadassah and the aravos. So there'll be two more here. The leaves will go till here, and then on the bottom there'll be three. That's a Chabad custom, but there definitely needs to be something holding them together. Now, if you don't, you just take them all in your hand, you have fulfilled the mitzvah. So it's not kosher if they're not tied together, but that's the ideal way, the proper way of doing it. Okay. I will help you put them all together, yes. Free of charge. I'll make knots for you and all that. I'm training my boys how to do it, yes. I'll have them working and I'll be making it. Now, and by the way, just so you know, when you do the mitzvah, if you make a blessing and you want to shake the lulav and the esrog, they need to actually be touching each other. So if you hold, I should have bought an esrog too, right? There's like a ball there, but let's say this is the esrog. This is a ball, whatever. If you're holding lulav and esrog, you can't do it like this To fulfill the mitzvah, you got to actually put them together. They're touching each other. Okay, that's number one. Now, when do we make the blessing? So here also is a lot of different customs. The Chabad custom is to make the blessing in the sukkah before we daven. So I wake up, say morning blessings. After morning blessings, before we eat, our custom is not to eat or drink anything before we do the mitzvah. We're so excited. And they say a story, I think it's of Lev Yitzchak Berditchev, who was so excited waiting for the mitzvah to shake the lulav in the esrog, he wouldn't go to sleep. He couldn't sleep all night, waiting until morning came. As soon as the sun went up, he rather ran to go shake the lulav in the esrog. He couldn't even go to sleep. He was so impatient for the opportunity to do this special mitzvah. So our custom is to make the blessing in the sukkah, not in the shul, right away as soon as we can. Then, by Hallel, we shake it again during the services. The Ashkenazi custom, the way that it's written over here, is they make, I believe this is what they do, that they make the bracha in the synagogue right before they do Hallel. Hallel, those who don't know, is after the Amidah, the songs of praise, and in shul, we shake the lulav in the esrog during Hallel. So in order not to make a separation in between the bracha and the shaking of the lulav during the Hallel praises of Hashem, and then the circling of the bima with the lulav and the esrog, they do it all at the same time. They make the blessing right before Hallel, and then what we call Hoshainus, which I'll get to in a few minutes. But that's a different customs. The Chabad, and if you don't do it before, and if you come to shul late, if you don't have your own, you come to shul, then you should do it before Hallel. You definitely can't do it after Hallel, because once you shook the lulav and the esrog, then you can't make a blessing later in the day. Understand? So you got to make sure that you make a blessing before you shake them. Not only that, even if you hold them, if you put them together and just shake it, and you weren't that's the mitzvah. Understand? Yeah, the mitzvah is a mitzvah whether or not you made a bracha. The mitzvah is still a mitzvah. If you didn't make a bracha, you still did the mitzvah. And once you did the mitzvah, you can't make a bracha. You always make a bracha before you do the mitzvah. Once you fulfill the mitzvah, you can no longer make a bracha because it's already done. And that's why you got to be careful to make the bracha first. Now, how do you make the bracha? So, the Chabad way, now you cannot be holding them together and then make the bracha. Because once you're holding them together, you've already done it. So the Chabad way, now you understand, is we hold just the lulav. We don't hold the esrog at all, which confuses people all the time because they think you have to hold the lulav. We don't hold the esrog, only the lulav. We make the bracha, and only after the bracha, then we pick up the esrog. This is a very unique esrog. It's almost like it's as expensive as an esrog, and we put them together and shake. On the first one, we got to shachyan, we pick it up and we hold them separate. The Ashkenazi custom is a little different. You saw people, they pick up the esrog upside down, right? Upside down. In order, by the way, if you hold the esrog upside down, you have not fulfilled the mitzvah. This is important. I'm going to get to this in a few minutes. But if you hold any of this piece, if you hold a lulav upside down, you hold anything upside down, it's not, you have to hold it the way that it grew from the ground. And therefore, they hold the esrog upside down. Then they make the blessing. And then after they make the blessing, then they turn it the right way to shake it. Got that? Okay. So that's what they're saying here about being careful to hold it upside down and then the right way. We don't ever hold the esrog upside down. We just leave it on the table and we only pick it up after we made the blessing. This way, the blessing is before you, by any stretch, did the mitzvah. No, we don't hold it. We don't hold the esrog at all. The esrog is on the table, and we only pick up the esrog after we made the blessing. Right side up. And I'm going to say this again later, but I see so many people making a mistake on this that it's important to repeat it. You must make sure you're holding the esrog the right way. What's the right way? I really wish I had an esrog to show you, but the stem. But you're going to have to figure out. I mean, you know what a stem looks like. The part that's cut. So the bottom of the esrog is going to have a big stem coming out of it. By the way, it's going to be indented. So this would be like the bottom. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but the bottom of the esrog is like kind of like indented. And then there's like a stem coming out, which is going to be cut. It's going to be a smooth cut. The top of the esrog, which is going to be the narrow part, because the esrog, a good esrog should have like a tower going up to the top. And the pitom, there's a little crown on the very top of it, sticking out of it, not like indented into it, sticking out. Or if it's an esrog that has no pitom, there'll be like a little indent, like a scab. There will not be anything else coming out. The pitom is the crown on top. Yes. Okay. The pitom makes it kosher if it grew with a pitom, and then that if it falls off after it was cut from the tree, then it's no longer kosher anymore. But if it grew with a pitom fall off earlier, meaning it's its natural growth, Calabrian esrogim from Italy, they don't have a pitom. They have a pitom as a growth, but it falls off much earlier. There's an indent there. It's kosher because they grow that way. That's where they grow. All Israeli esrogs grow with a pitom, which is where they. But our customers use a Yanavar esrog. Yanavar is from Italy, Calabrian. Yanavar is in Yiddish. Calabrian esrog, which is from Calabria, which is in Italy. Those don't grow with the pitom. They grow with it, but then it falls off while it's still growing. And so that's kosher. We're not going to the laws of the esrog today. We did it 2 weeks ago, whatever, 3 weeks ago. But the point is, you have to make sure that the esrog is the right way with the crown. Like, just look at it for a minute. If you look at it for a minute, yeah, like that. So if you pass me that a second, Sarah, pass it. I'm going to show you. That's a picture I want to show for the camera also. So, what's wrong with your phone? So if you look at the picture, you guys see it? The bottom, that's a stem coming out of the bottom. It's cut. It's going to be a smooth cut. It's indented into the bottom of the esrog a little bit. You see there's like a little indent? Do you see that? And the top is like a crown. Like it narrows up at the top, and then there's a little crown on top. So you look at it, and you're going to, if you pay attention, you'll figure out which is the top, which is the bottom. You don't need to be a big scholar, to figure it out, or a big Kabbalist. Yeah, it's a good picture. Thank you. Make sure you're holding the right way. Now, on the first day of Sukkos, we make 2 blessings. What are the 2 blessings? Well, the first blessing is, I should have said before, Asher Kedishanu b'mitzotav v'tzivanu al netilat lulav. In general, every blessing is the same. It's the same, right? Asher Kedishanu, just the last 2 words that is different. Al netilat lulav. You okay? You're okay. Al netilat lulav. Then, so we're holding just the esrog, just the lulav, sorry. Then we pick up the esrog, making sure to hold them apart, not upside down, hold them apart, make the blessing shehechianu. Then we put them together, make the blessing. And we shake them. I'll get how we shake them in a second. The other days, we don't make shehechianu. Only the first time that we're doing the mitzvah do we make a shehechianu, we don't make it again. The blessing. On the first day, that's correct. That's what I said, and that still stands. What I'm adding now is a second blessing that we make on the first day. We make 2 blessings on the first day. So after we made the first blessing, just holding the lulav, now I make a second blessing, holding the lulav and esrog, but holding them apart. Holding them apart. Shechianu, the Shechianu blessing. There you go. Okay, now. You only say Shechianu the first time that you are shaking the lulav and esrog. So if the first day of the Sukkos holiday is on Shabbos, which is what will be next year, not this year, but next year will be on Shabbos, then the first lulav and esrog is, the first day is the second day of the Chag, on Sunday. So you make Shechianu on Sunday, not on the first day. Now, you only make Shechianu for something which is new, that you never had a chance to do before. No, we do not shake lulav and esrog on Shabbat. It's muktzah. Muktzah machmas mitzvah. Now, really, biblically, at times they could, but the rabbis made a decree that they don't want people carrying the lulav and esrog to get, and then they would carry on Shabbos. So they made a decree: no muktzah, no lulav and esrog on Shabbos. Once it became forbidden to do, once we no longer do the lulav and esrog on Shabbos, so now it becomes muktzah. It's off of your mind. You have no plan to use it. There's no permitted use for lulav and esrog on Shabbat, so like any other muktzah item, like a cell phone, whatever laws apply. We'll get to smelling it in a minute. It's going to go in order. But if someone, for whatever reason, didn't shake lulav and esrog on the first day or the second day, now it's the third day of the Chag, could they say Shechianu? Yes, because for them, it's their first time. Correct. So it's their first time, so even though it's the third day of the holiday, correct. Make sure it's clear. Now, after reciting the blessing, you turn here so you put it the right way. And now we shake the lulav in all 4 directions. which directions. So in the Shulchan Aruch that we have in front of us, which is the Ashkenazi custom, it says east, south, west, north, up, down. That might sound very hard to remember, so I'm going to make it easier for you to remember. Clockwise. And in general, in Judaism, always we go clockwise. You go around the circle, would be facing east, south, west, north, up, down. That's the Ashkenazi way. That's not the Chabad way. So the Chabad way, which is the way of the Arizal, it's not a Chabad way. I take that back. It's not the Chabad way. The Hasidic way that all Hasidim use, I'm not sure if it's Sfardim or not, but for sure the way that the Arizal, this is the Arizal's way. So all those who follow the Arizal, think it's Sfardim also. I think so. Do it in the following order. First of all, you face east. Facing east. And you go in the, I'll explain to the large one. You go first to the right, which means you're going to the right, so you're going south. Southeast, really. You're not going all the way south, you're going like southeast. Yeah, direction. And by the way, we turn our bodies a little bit. Then we go to the north. Okay? Well, to the left. So right, left, forward, up, down, behind us. Okay? Now, let me explain. Actually, behind sideways, like this. And the third time, I'll show you. Let me just show you. All the way back in. So you're going, and you turn your body towards the direction. So you turn a little bit. You're facing east, turn to the right. So you're southeast, and you go forward, back to your heart. Forward, back to your heart. Forward, back to your heart. 3 times. Then you turn to your left side, and keeping it straight, forward, back to your heart, forward, back to your heart, forward, back to your heart, 3 times. And straight, directly east, forward, 3 times, back to your heart. Then up. And now, I want to do something very important. I'm going to say Sukkos say now. We do not turn, the lulav is supposed to be the way you grow. That's the way. If you're holding it like this, it's embarrassing to the lulav. It's not the way to do it. People are whipping it around like it's a conductor stick, and it's not. It's a mitzvah. So the way you go up is you go up the proper way. You go up, back to your heart, up, drop down, back to your heart, up, down a little bit, back to your heart. You go down, keeping the little straight. Just you're lowering it. You're not pointing. It's not a pointer. You're lowering it down, back to your heart, lowering it, keeping it straight back to your heart, lowering it back to your heart. Then you go over your shoulder once, back to your heart, over your shoulder a second time, back to your heart, and then you turn all the way, the whole body turns, all the way west, and back to your heart. You go to the right. You're going south, west, once, southwest twice, and then fully west the third. Now, what, is pointing down? Well, and you don't need to shake it. It's also important. It's not a grogger. It's not a grogger. You don't need to make noise. You don't need to hear the lulav and making noise. You don't need to whip it. You don't need to shake it. You don't need to see the leaves moving apart. All you're doing is making your lulav not kosher by doing that. If someone else is making your lulav not kosher by doing that. You don't need to shake it anyway. Just you move it in directions. Now, I'll explain to you quickly what's the Hasidic reason, the Kabbalistic reason for the directions I told you, is in the midot. Those who know the midot, I'll say it one time. If you know it, you'll understand. If you don't, for someone watching, if you're facing east, what's the right side? Chesed. The right side you mean, which is south. South is the side of Chesed. North is the side of Gvura. Gvura. The left, that's the north side. The left is Gvura. Forward is Tiferes, the blend of the two. Up is Netzach. Netzach is about domination, victory, grandeur. Down is Hod. Hod is surrender, submission. And then behind you is Yisod, which is about bonding and giving. Yisod is actually the part of the body that connects to the other person, about bonding and connection. And we go back to the heart each time. The heart represents Malchus. So go back to the heart. That is the Kabbalistic explanation for the order of the Arizal, and that will be enough for right now. Yes. It's actually an excellent idea. It's a very good idea. Be very beneficial to a lot of people. When we get Levin Esrog, remind me. I give you permission after Yom Kippur. Remind me, and I'll be glad to do a video and maybe I'll explain very quickly the midot. And yes. Okay. Yeah, and then also I'll make a reminder. Please treat with kids. It's not a grogger, and it's not a whip, and it's not a conductor stick, and it's not a yes. Okay, now 6 Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yisod. Midot. The midot are the yes. Midot. Middot. Okay, that's what Arizal. That's what I believe the Sfardim do it also for sure. All Hasidim that follow the Arizal do it in that order. What? The Sfardim do that order also. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Now, if you hold them in the wrong hand, also a problem, and you should shake them again. However, since maybe you fulfilled your obligation, we don't make another bracha. But so that means if you're righty anyway, and you held the lulav in your left hand and the little esrog in your right hand, it's a problem. We don't make another blessing, but you do need to shake it again. Okay? Now, what if you're a lefty? So here, this is we follow this way as well. A person who's left-handed should hold the lulav in the hand that he regards as right, meaning in his stronger hand, because we're making a blessing on the lulav. So that's the most prestigious. First of all, it's the longest, the most prominent, but it's also considered the most important of the four. So you hold that in his stronger hand, which would be the left hand, and the esrog in the hand that he considers weaker, which is the right hand. If he held them in the opposite manner, he should pick them up and hold them in the correct manner without a bracha. I think Sfardim do it right, no matter what, even if you're a lefty. But this is the way we rule. Now, what's not written in here is about making a bracha. A woman. Now, this is still going through the rules and different customs of Sfardim and all that. A woman technically is not required to make a bracha on the lulav and the esrog. Why not? Because it's a positive mitzvah that has a time limit, and the time any positive mitzvah that can only be done in a certain time, like during the day of Sukkos, women are not biblically required to do. However, women accepted upon themselves the obligation of this mitzvah, just like the mitzvah of sitting in the sukkah, and therefore a woman is allowed to make a bracha. She does, not she's allowed. The Chabad ruling and the Ashkenazi ruling is a woman make a bracha. Now became an obligation upon them. Women today, from a halachic perspective, in the Ashkenazi and Chabad community, are obligated in the mitzvah, and therefore they need to make a blessing on the mitzvah. They need to. Not if they want to, they could. They need to check over that every day. I'll get that. However, Sfardim, the women, although also Sfardim say that Sfardim women are obligated to live in that every day because women took it upon themselves, they do not make a bracha because it's not a biblical commandment upon them. Now, children are obligated in the mitzvah of chinuch, in the obligation of educating them to practice, know how to do a mitzvah. So, like any other mitzvah that a child does to learn how to properly do the mitzvot, so too the child needs to shake the lulav and the esrog. However, on the first day of Sukkos, you may not give your lulav and esrog to a child before you shake the lulav and the esrog. Why? No. You might do that any day. We learned already that the mitzvah of lulav and esrog requires that the lulav belongs to you. The verse in the Torah says, "Ulakachtem lachem b'yom harishon pri etz hadar." You should take to yourself a beautiful fruit, etc., which means it has to be lachem, yours. You have to own it, and therefore you should really own your own lulav and esrog that belongs to you. That's the requirement. If for whatever reason you don't have and you're taking someone else's, they have to give it to you as a gift. On condition you'll return it, but it's a gift that at that moment becomes legally yours as long as they return it afterwards. Meaning if you're going to use my lulav and esrog, I have to give it to you as a gift. I'm nas lahachzer, on condition you're going to return it to me, and then now when you take it, it's yours. So I won't let anyone touch my lulav and esrog before I make a blessing on myself the first day. And once you give it to a kid is considered smart enough to know how to take something. A kid is not considered smart enough or mature enough to know how to legally give something. So once you give it to a kid could have acquired it, but they don't have the legal ability to actually give it to you. From day number 2 and on, or if you live in America, from day number 3 and on, because day number 1 and day number 2 share the same rulings, because even though today we know that day number 1 is day number 1 and day number 2 is day number 2, the whole reason why we have 2 days of Yom Tov is because we're not sure with what day is day number 1, day number 2. So all the rulings and the laws of halach, of Shabbos, not Shabbos, of cooking, or muksa, whatever, all the laws of the Chag that are on day 1 or on day 2, so to the regarding the Lulav and Esrog, whatever's day 1 is day number 2. So you can't give your child, once you give it to them, it's hard for them to give it back. So they should really have their own, etc. Correct. Zam will have his own. He wants to buy his own. He even asked me. Okay, now that's all regarding the blessing and the shaking of the lulav and esrog. And if both hands are equal, then you should shake the right hand. Now, we don't wear tefillin at all during the entire week of Sukkot or Pesach. But here the Ashkenazi custom was they did, but they would take off the straps around the lulav, the hand, because you don't want anything separating in between your hands and the lulav and the esrog, which means you may not shake lulav and esrog wearing gloves. In fact, you ready for this, ladies? It says that you should remove any rings from one's fingers before. Now, if you were wearing a ring and you shook lulav and esrog, you have still fulfilled the mitzvah because you're still holding it in your hands. But ideally, there should be no separation whatsoever between lulav and esrog, which is why we tied the lulav with something from the lulav, nothing in between. And therefore, ideally, your hands should be empty of anything else. Now, that's all regarding the blessing on the lulav and esrog that we do before davening, we did it during davening, etc. Now we come to the middle of davening, we come to Hallel. So we come to Shul, right? We finish the morning service. Before we read the Torah, after the Amidah, we say Hallel. You want to pass this? I mean, I don't need to. So if you want to look in the Siddur yourselves, it might help you. Look on page 307. On page 307 is the Hallel. If you turn like 2 pages, like 313 or 314, is going to be Hodu LaHashem Kitov, Ki Li Olam Chasto. Now, when we say Hodu LaHashem Kitov, Ki Li Olam Chasto, give thanks to Hashem because He is kind. His kindness is forever. We shake the lulav and esrog in all 6 directions with the 6 words in the verse that do not have Hashem's name in it. You got it? And we follow the same order of how we shook it before. So, I'll repeat it. Holding the lulav and esrog together. I will go back a second. We hold the lulav the whole time we're saying Hallel. We only hold the esrog while we're actually saying the shakings. During the rest, we don't hold the esrog, only the lulav. Only the lulav. And we go to the right. Hodu 3 times. As we say Hodu. The word La Hashem we don't shake at all. Ki to the left. Tov is forward. Ki is up 3 times. La'olam is down 3 times. And then Chasto is behind your back 3 times. Got it? Then turn the 309. Then you turn the page. Now we're going to be on page 310 or 311. Is Ana Hashem Hoshiana. And then 2, we shake the lulav and esrog, where there's only 3 words in the verse that don't have Hashem's name. Because we don't shake them, we say Hashem's name. So then we do 2 shakings per word. So we do Ana to the right and to the left 3 times. Hashem we don't shake. Hoshia we do forward 3 times, up 3 times. And then when we say the word na, which means please, we go down 3 times and over our shoulder 3 times. And each time we're going back to our heart. Now, since we say Ana Hashem Hoshiana twice, so we do all the shakings twice. Person doesn't understand why we just do Ana Hashem Hoshiana 6 words. So just do it 1 time. Well, I don't get to make the rules. That's how we do it. So he says just once, but the Chabad custom is to do it twice. Okay. Got it? And then again, we say Hodel Hashem Kitov again, right before we say Eliyata V'Odeka, then we say Hodel Hashem again, and again by the next Hodel Hashem, we're again shaking in all directions. Unless you had just shaken a little bit right before the Hallel, then you don't. Okay. And again, that's different over here than the way that it's written in the Shulchan Aruch a little bit. Oh, here, in the end of Halacha 4, it talks about being careful that when you shake the lulav downward, be careful not to point downwards, just to lower one's hands while holding the lulav esrog and keeping the species in the direction in which they grow. Okay? And you do not need to shake the lulav forcefully. It is sufficient to shake it gently just so that its leaves give a little rustle. Just a little shake is all you need to do. Here he says that we don't actually turn our face in directions. Our custom is to actually turn our body in the direction we're shaking it to. Okay. Now, as mentioned already, we don't eat and drink before we do the mitzvah. We're very excited to do it. If you don't have a lulav and esrog, ideally you should wait to get one before you eat. But if you don't have one, you're waiting for someone to come, etc., you're now allowed to fast on Chol HaMoed, so then you can eat. Especially if you see the days, you're allowed to eat. Now, how do we keep the lulav and esrog fresh? So you put it into water. So here it seems like they had like a water pot almost, and they're putting here like a little water pot, and they're like, well, yeah. My suggestion is to put it into a towel, not like a hand towel, and that will keep it moist. The towel should not be dripping wet. It should just be moist, because if it's going to be wet, you're going to get mold and everything. Just be moist, nothing more. You're allowed to put the lulav back into the wet towel on the chag, even though you're not allowed to put flowers into water on a chag. Right? If someone brings flowers to home on Shabbos, cut flower. What? Bring the flowers before the water, or they come before Shabbos. You can't put the flowers into water on Shabbos. However, yeah, you can't. It's actually not allowed to squeeze a towel. That's chita. What happens? Lightning comes from the sky and strikes you with the smithereens. What do you mean what happens? You did a mistake. Yeah, go do tshuva. Go bang your heart. I'm saying you made a sin. You did something wrong. It was a mistake. If it was a mistake, a legitimate mistake, it was a mistake. Yeah, it's an oops. And just watch out for lightning. No, I'm so why are you allowed? Let's stay focused, my friend. So why are you allowed to put the lulav back into the wet towel if you're not allowed to put flowers that are cut into water? Because you're returning it to where it came from. When Yom Tov started, it was with water. Meaning, if you didn't put your lulav away, you can't put water on the chag. Then you make something new. So you're not allowed to change the water even. You can add water to it if there's already existing water. You can add more. If the towel was moist, now like on the second day, ready to get a little dry, you can add more water. But you can't change the towel. You can't bring a new towel. You can't do. Because then it's like you're putting new water. Then it'd be like helping grow a plant on the chag. Okay. Now, you ready for another thing that a lot of people make a mistake with? Smelling the esrog. Smelling the esrog. A lot of things that are wrong smell good. So I know. So now you came to learn that you should not smell. So he brings here a reason as follows. Why can you not smell the esrog? Because there's a debate if you need to make a blessing before you smell it. In general, okay, so let me explain. In general, you're not allowed to get benefit from something without making a blessing on it. So before you smell spices, you make a blessing. Borei mine b'samim. Now, that means all kinds of spices. There's really different blessings for something from a tree. You say borei atzei b'samim. For leaves or grass, you say borei isvei b'samim. For other things, they borei mine b'samim. So there's a whole debate basically what blessing to make. If you make a blessing, and therefore, because might not be the right blessing, then you shouldn't smell the esrog. If you're going to smell the esrog, you should make a blessing before you smell it. after the Chag. The other issue is it's used for a mitzvah. So once something becomes holy for a mitzvah, you don't use a mitzvah for your own personal benefits. You understand? So therefore, you shouldn't smell the myrtle. No. However, on Shabbos, where smelling would be on the esrog would be permitted, because there you're not allowed to use it for the mitzvah, and therefore you're not using it for a mitzvah. Therefore, you can use it to smell it. But what bracha should you make? Not bori minei b'samim, but baruch Hashem hanosen reach tov b'peros. Because it's in halacha number 7, and this may be part of the issue. Hanosen reach tov b'peros. I should actually look into this more. It's whatever. But that's the idea. Now, in general, the lulav is muktzah on Shabbos, and it was already mentioned because it's only used for a mitzvah. And really, if you ask me, you shouldn't pick the esrog and touch it either on Shabbos. It should be muktzah, not saying here you can smell it. But generally speaking, we don't touch the lulav or the esrog on the chag, unless you need the space. Meaning, if you're sitting on the dining room table and you need the dining room table, then you're allowed to move it because you're not moving it for the sake of the lulav. Just 30 seconds. If you left your lulav and esrog outside in the sukkah and it's hot and or it's raining, it's going to get ruined, you're not allowed to move it to protect the lulav. But if you left it on the table and now you need the table to eat, so now you're moving the lulav, not for the sake of the lulav, but for the sake of the space where the lulav is, then you're allowed to move it so you can use the table to eat on. You understand? It's not a class on Shabbos, but that's just so you know. Because it's a pretty classic example. Someone leaves it on the table, then it's, okay. Yeah, you would. Okay. We talked about owning it and not giving it to a child. We talked about that already. Partners, we assume that each one gives his own share of the esrog to his partner. So if multiple people chip in together to buy a lulav and esrog, they each can consider it theirs to fulfill the mitzvah properly. So you don't have to buy your own. You just have to have an ownership in it. A woman does not need to own her own. Chana does not get her own lulav and esrog. She uses mine. Again, she doesn't have the same biblical obligation that the man has. And no, the family, like, it's mine is hers. Yeah. Women do not need their own. Yes. I mean, for your family, but yes. And that's why in the community, back in the olden times, where it's very hard today, it's very easy to get a lulav and esrog. Go to wherever Egypt or Italy, put them onto a plane, ship them. But living in Eastern Europe, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, it wasn't that easy. UPS didn't exist. It wasn't before Amazon and all that. It was very hard. They didn't grow in that climate. You didn't have only the money. They didn't grow there. In Russia, you don't have date palms growing in Russia or Australia. They need to be in very wet climates and all that. So they don't grow in Poland. So to get a lulav and esrog in Poland or in Czechoslovakia, wherever, was very difficult. And there's many, many stories of whole communities were waiting for one lulav and esrog for the whole city to come. It's not a natural. There's many, many stories. I can tell you many stories now. Many stories. We don't have time. I want to continue, but I'm just telling you reality. So for the Jewish people, it's very hard. So the community, it costed a lot because you have to ship it and get it, and it was like supply and demand. There's very few of them, so whatever came was very expensive. People spent a lot of money to get a lulav and esrog. Much cheaper today compared to what it was back then. And so therefore, the community would buy one, and it was the community. So on the first day, everyone's making the blessing on the same lulav and esrog, as if it's theirs because they own part of it. So we assume that all the partners give their share to everyone else as a partnership. So multiple people could pay together for a lulav and esrog, and it belongs to all of them. Got it. Okay. Now, after Hala, here in the Shulchan Aruch says to do it after Musaf, but our custom, the way we do it is, after Hala, before the Torah reading, we do what's called Hoshainus, which is where everyone is holding a lulav and esrog circles around the bima. The Torah is taken out of the ark, placed on the bima, and we circle the bima to remember how they did it in the temple when they would circle around the altar, where there was the Hoshainus, which is the willow branches, the arava, and we circle. For the first 6 days, we circle one time each of the 6 days. On the 7th day, Hoshana Rabbah, we circle 7 times. we repeat all 6 circles of the 6 first days, plus the 7th day, plus many more pages of prayers. Hoshana Rabbah is a very, very, very special day. It's like the unknown holiday that people don't appreciate how holy it is. What? Final, that's correct. The final decree. This is the last chance. And especially we judge for water, which represents Parnasa and divine. No, not only water in the rain. We're saying water represents your sustenance, your life, so you're being judged for the year ahead, even though Yom Kippur passed, and Yom Kippur, so to say, the sign and seal, and the Elah. Jews is always, even though you said never doesn't really mean never. It means wait a week and then try again. That's right. So that's you had Yom Kippur, we had the Elah, but there's still up to Hoshana Rabbah. So we'll talk about the net of Hoshana Rabbah in a minute, but on the Hoshana Rabbah we circle 7 times. No doubt. You circle around the bima. The Chazan leaves it. It's in the prayer book on page 3. I don't know, 369. I think 369. See if I'm right. If I remember from last year. Page 369. What page is 3? I'm really testing myself. I haven't looked. I might be showing off, but whatever. Let me go on. 368. Okay, there you go. Okay, so I was off. Not. I was off by a page. 368. 369 is like day number 2 or day number 3. But you start there are those pages. 368 is Hoshanas, where you circle the bima, the Chazan lead, right? And you go around and then you bring the Torah back. And you'll be in shul. You'll see what you'll see. They say the prayer. You don't have to circle to say the prayer. What? No, you don't know. You don't. It's just a circle of the Torah. It's reminiscent of in the temple they would circle the altar. So there's a circle of the bima, and on the men's side too. If someone doesn't have a lulav and esrog, they don't circle the bima. You only circle with the lulav and esrog. If not, the Chazan's reading, and you respond. We go line by line. That's a totally different thing. Totally different. But the Chazan said you'll follow along. You'll whatever. You'll see. We're going to run out of time again very soon, so you'll see. Now, by the way, when on Shabbos of Chol, we don't do Hoshanas because we don't hold the lulav and esrog. So on Sunday we do the circle for yesterday and the circle for Sunday. So we do 2 circles on Sunday. Got it? Okay. Shabbos is the middle of the week. What do you mean? Middle of Chol. The first day is Tuesday, Monday night. Hoshana Rabbah is on Monday. Sunday night, Monday. So now let's go to chapter 138 about Hoshana Rabbah and Shmini Atzeres and Chas Torah. So on Hoshana Rabbah night, which is this year Sunday night, we have a custom to stay up all night studying and saying Tehillim and praying because it's the last night. The last decree, as Randy said, the final decree. It's a very, very special night. And our custom is to read the whole book of Devarim earlier, and then after midnight, meaning after 1:16 a.m. in Florida, we say the whole Tehillim. You saw the whole Tehillim? What? Yeah, there's a minyan. If you go to Chabad University Drive, not gonna be here, but I go every single year, and there'll be a lot of people in shul on University Drive at 1:00 in the morning saying the whole Tehillim. And we'll do the whole thing from beginning to end. And there's actually special praise. If you look in the Tehillim, you'll see this special, the back, it has a Yiratzon. There's a Yiratzon for during the week, for Shabbos. There's special prayers to say on the night of Hoshana Rabbah when you say Tehillim on the night of Hoshana Rabbah. Just FYI. It's there, you'll see. And if you read the English, it's very powerful. Each book of Tehillim has its own paragraph of requests that we ask for on that night of Hoshana Rabbah, saying Tehillim, praying for blessings and good things and health, etc. on that night. There's also a custom to eat an apple dipped in honey that night. It's not really here in the Shulchan Aruch. I don't know if it's a Chabad custom, that's our custom. Yeah, it's a custom. That we actually eat an apple, the Gabbai in Shul, like at 2:00 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning, when you finish, he gives out apples and there's honey, you have apple and honey. Yeah. Now, during the day of Shmini Hoshana Rabbah is a Chag. It doesn't have all the legal rules of a regular holiday, I didn't go through the laws of Chol HaMoed because we didn't do it here. Maybe Chol HaMoed, let's just spend 2 minutes. Chol HaMoed is a combination of a holiday and a weekday. So during Chol HaMoed, which this year is it's Thursday, Friday, Shabbos, Sunday, Monday, you're allowed to drive, you're allowed to work, you're allowed to do whatever, but you're not supposed to do any work that's not needed for the holiday. So really, really, you shouldn't go to work, business work, or do anything like that, or do anything that's unnecessary, that's not for enjoyment. You shouldn't even do planting or like anything like that. No, you're allowed to. If you need to, you're allowed to, and there's no sin. But it's ideal to be in a more Shabbos holiday spirit, the more Shabbos-dic spirit. Even like planting, which let's say you want to plant for fun as an activity. You shouldn't do it during Chol HaMoed because of the time when you should limit melacha. You should limit the working that you do. It should be more time of a holiday spirit. But more than that, on Hoshana Rabbah is even more than the other days. The custom is to wear Shabbos clothing. You bring the Shulchan Aruch, the custom to wear a kittel, the white robe that we wear on Yom Kippur. Chazan wears it, and we wear it on Hoshana Rabbah. Chabad does not wear it, but others do. The special prayers. Some communities have like a special prayer book for Hoshana Rabbah. We don't have that. We just have the very long Hoshanas, because even after we circle 7 times, it's like another 10 pages. Look on page 373 probably, till like 383, and I'm guessing now. I'm going. You read from 368. From 368, you repeat everything you did all the other days. Right? Is it 373 Hoshana Rabbah? Are we in the 383? 382. I said 382, and I was guessing. But so it's 9 pages instead of 10 pages. But okay. Oh, so it goes to 383. So it ends on 383. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. I was guessing it a little bit, but it was an educated guess. It wasn't a random guess. It was an educated guess. So 383. So I'm saying it's a long. I don't want to tell them the whole night before, but some other communities they do like a Shabbos, like a holiday davening. They change the davening more. They have their own prayers. We have a regular davening. We add in all the shyness and all that. Of course, it's like a 2-hour service, so it is a long davening. Now, after we finish all those shyness, circling all those times, we have a custom to take 5 willow branches, to bang them on the floor, and on page 383, you're going to see a paragraph there. We do it. No, before. Maybe give me a siddur. It's on 383. It should probably be on 383. The power. No, 380. On 383. On the bottom of 382. On 382, after Kaddish, there's a Yehi Ratzon prayer. That prayer is said. It's that goes to the next page. Where we're at, we take what's called Heshainas, Aravis. We bang it. It's called Heshainas, actually. It is Aravis. It is willows, and we bang it 5 times on the ground. Again, a 30-second Kabbalistic explanation. Either you'll get it or you won't. 5 is the idea of breaking, sweetening judgment, a sweetening gvura. For example, you have 5 fingers that break up the intensity of your fist. Your fist is very strong. But without fingers, you can't play music, you can't write, you can't knit and sew and do anything. So the 5 times is to sweeten the judgment of God. We do not have the custom to circle the bima with the aravas. Some communities actually hold the aravas. They don't hold it with the lulav. They put the lulav down, they take the aravas, and they do additional circles with the arava. And that was original in the temple. They would put like as a crown, like all around the altar be these aravas. We don't actually circle with the aravas, but we bang them 5 times on the ground. You don't have to make the leaves fall off, and everyone feels the need to like show how strong they are, that they can hit it, that the whole thing will fall to pieces. Just got to hit it 5 times. And then you say this prayer on the bottom of 382, 383. Yiratzon Mefanecha, may it be, O Lord our God and God of our fathers, you who chooses good prophets and good customs, to accept in mercy and favor our prayers and our processions around the bima. Remember on our behalf the merit of these 7 perfectly pious ones, the 7 guests. Remove the iron barrier that sunders us, that separates us. Listen to our supplication. Seal our judgment for good. O you who suspends the earth and space. Seal our judgment in the book of good life, etc., etc., etc. The Lord will open for you his bounty and his treasures, the heavens, and rain for your land, in the season to bless all the work of your hand. Amen. Okay? Now, that's the custom. It's a very beautiful, it's a custom from the time of the prophets. It's not a recent Chabad custom. This custom of banging 5 times is a custom that dates all the way back to the Nevi'im, the prophets in the first temple. So it's a Jewish custom that goes back for a very, very, very long time. There's a tremendous amount of spiritual significance about sweetening judgment, and it's a highly recommended. If you can do it, you should do it. Khan does it. You have to buy them. Shyness. I'll sell them if you want. I get a lot of sets, but my wife does it. Even though she doesn't come to shul, I bring home and she does it. Okay, that's as far. Now, after you bang it, they're now holy. Holy, not like a mitzvah. You don't have to bury them in the ground like Sheamus, but you can't throw them out. You can't, because you're using for a mitzvah. So I think we discussed this already. They get put on top of the customers to throw them on top of the Aron Kodesh or whatever, on top of a bookcase, to leave them in storage. Basically, you don't want to throw them out. They're not holy, and then you use them for some kind of a mitzvah. So the point is, you can't throw them out. Some people have a custom to make jam, or jelly, or people like to make jelly. Because what are you going to do with the esrog? You can't throw it out. I ended up burying it, or double wrap it and put it on the side. I read you're allowed to put it on the side if someone else will take it, cover it, to take it to the garbage, but you can't actively throw it out. So I have a box of sitting, of all the love and sitting out. No, I got rid of it out. But till a few weeks ago, I had it sitting here, sitting in the office, just like a box sitting. And the Srogim, I buried them in this because they one got moldy. I told you. So people make jelly out of them. People use them as firewood for burning of the matzah, for burning chametz. Use them to burn the matzah, to make the matzahs and all that. Yes, correct. You have to find a use for them, or to do something with them. Some people make perfumes. I saw over here about making perfume out of the hadassah. I've never seen anyone doing that before. What? Find one what? Make one. Don't know if I make one. I'm going to give you all the dasim and you can make a. He was supposed to do this year, didn't do it this year. Okay, now, the rest of Hoshana Rabbah is a special day. We actually have a Yom Tov meal on Hoshana Rabbah. I know, we talked last week about the Yom Tov meal during the day of pre-Yom Kippur. The same thing is on Hoshana Rabbah. It's the last time we have a custom to dip challah in honey until Hoshana Rabbah. We have a custom during the day of Hoshana Rabbah, lunchtime, whatever, not for the dinner, not for Shemoneh Esrei night. During lunchtime, in the middle of the day, to have a proper meat meal where you wash, you dip your challah, round challah in the honey, and you eat fish and meat, and kreplach is a custom to have kreplach. Kreplach is like dough, meat, like a dough filling and all that. And yeah, we sit in the sukkah and we have a proper Yom Tov meal. It's a little short, it's still a weekday and we don't have but it's a proper meal. And all my kids are chopping around the last honey they can, because that's it. It's the last chance to lick up as much honey as they can get. Yeah. Go until next year. Okay. That's on Day Hoshana Rabbah. It's a Yom Tov. So you're allowed to drive, you're allowed to use your phone, you're allowed to do basic work, but some people try not to write anything. If they write a letter, custom, they write abbreviations. MKP. I'm writing MKM. I'm writing, with respect, like kind of acknowledging that I'm writing it, even though it's a chag. I'm writing it, But in general, you try and limit the amount of work that you do in that time. Something is urgent or whatever, you can allow to do it, but you limit it. Now comes the night of Shmini Atzeret, which this year is on still 2 more days. Yeah, but the ending is quite an ending. The ending is quite an ending. Now, all religious Jews sit in the Sukkah on Shmini Atzeret. This is not a Chabad thing. This is all religious Jews. And the reason is it's in the Gemara. Actually, today I had to go check when I was preparing. I was so the Gemara explained. I wasn't sure, See, even I learned stuff I learned too. The Gemara in Sukkah brings a debate between different Amoraim what we should do on the 8th day of Sukkot, Shmini Atzeret, because it's the gathering, it's the end of Sukkot, but it's also a new holiday of its own. Now remember, it's going to be a little complicated, but you guys are smart. You can keep. We officially are not even sure what day is the 8th day, the 7th day. The mitzvah is to sit in the Sukkah 7 days. So if you counted the first day of Sukkot as the first day of Sukkot, so then Hishayna Rabbah, we started on Monday nights. Let's just make it easy. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Shabbos, Sunday, Monday. That's 7 days. But maybe the first day wasn't the first day. That's why we have 2 days of Yom Tov, right? Maybe the second day of Yom Tov was the first day. Maybe. So if the first day of Yom Tov is what we consider the second day, which is why we're keeping Yom Tov for 2 days, because we're not sure which day is day number 1. So if you start counting from Wednesday, which is perhaps the first day of Yom Tov, then the 7th day is on what we're calling day number 8, Shmini Atzeres. And so therefore, you need to keep all the laws of Sukkos as if it's Sukkos. The problem is, you guys ready? It's a new holiday. Shmini Atzeret is considered a chag of its own, which is why we make a shechiyanu in the kiddush of Shmini Atzeres. Well, it's the end, but it's his own holiday. Listen, we make a shechiyanu, we make kiddush when we light candles. If the ladies are lighting candles on Shmini Atzeret night, unlike on Shvi'i Shal Pesach, on the 7th day of Pesach, we don't make shechiyanu. But on Shmini Atzeret, Simchas Torah, is its holiday of its own. The Torah calls it its own holiday, and therefore it's its own energy, so to say. So you can't say that, you can't go shake the lulav in the esrog on Shmini Atzeret and make a blessing sitting in the sukkah, leishav sukkah, because you're saying it's sukkahs. But you're also saying it's Shmini Atzeret. It's a conflict. It's a conflict. So therefore, there's a debate amongst the rabbis, the Amoraim, the rabbis. In the Gemara is a debate about making the blessing and sit in the sukkah or not. And the conclusion is that you should sit in the sukkah, because you can't eat out of the sukkah on sukkahs, but you don't make a blessing for sitting in the sukkah because maybe Shmini Atzeres, and then you're making a blessing on the sukkah, and you're also making a kiddush. The kiddush as Shmini Atzeret. Now, if the kids are going to say Leishav Sukkah, it doesn't make any sense. You understand? So that's why we eat in the sukkah. And again, it's not a Chabad thing. So all religious Jews eat in the sukkah Shmini Atzeres, but they don't make a blessing on the Leishav Sukkah because it's already Shmini Atzeret. Now, by the way, because of that, because of what I just said, if when you make Kiddush, you by mistake say that's the holiday of Sukkot, in the Kiddush, you'll see there's a different section for the different holidays. If you say the Sukkot section on Shmini Atzeret, you got to go back because you said the wrong holiday. Same thing is in the prayers. In the Amida, we say, in the Atav V'Chartanu, we say, B'yoyim Chag HaMatzos Hazeh, B'yoyim Chag HaSukkos Hazeh, B'yoyim Shmini Atzeres HaChag Hazeh. And by mistake, you say B'yom Chag HaSukkos. Instead of B'yom Shmini Atzeres HaChag Hazeh, you said the wrong holiday. You got to go back and do it again. Got it? So, on Shmini Atzeres, we still eat in the sukkah. Those that sleep in the sukkah they don't sleep in the sukkah. There's a little more room to be lenient if you need, but we eat in the sukkah just like all the other days of sukkahs.
So you're not having a fancy
Rabbah.
And then you're doing it again for Shemini Atzeret.
Yep. Yeah, and then again during the day, and again at night, again at day. Yeah, and it's just Gosh, that's right. The only way to not gain 10 pounds is to walk back and forth to shore, and to do a lot of dancing and jumping and all that, and then you'll burn off all the calories. What? Yeah, Shlomo's holiday. Yes. Okay. Yeah, dance the last one on Shmini Atzeres, Simchas Torah, and you'll be okay. Okay. Should limit like the cleaning out of the sukkah before, because you're not. I don't think it's distracted now. We have the custom to do hakafos both on Shmini Atzeres night and on Simchas Torah night. But here talks about just Simchas Torah. So anyway, let me just go through the order. So Shmini Atzeres, we make Kiddush in the sukkah. If you're here, we're going to have a meal here in Shul. My wife makes a meal here because we already wash. We don't wash, but we're saying we have Kiddush. We eat something in the sukkah, and then we do hakafot. We do dancing on Shmini Atzeret night, only as a practice, as a warm-up. Okay? Shmini Atzeret day is Yizkor. It's a regular Shmini Atzeret service. Also on Shmini Atzeret's day is the day when we officially change from summer to winter. Right? So you'll see in the prayer book. Correct. So we switch on page 355. We officially switch going back to the prayer for rain, because winter is the rain, 355 is a prayer for rain. So on Shmini Atzeret is the prayer for rain. When we officially asking in Israel, which they needed rain during the winter to make everything grow. So the prayer for rain, on Pesach, we also do a prayer for dew, but that's just to make it symmetrical. The real prayer, not to minimize that one, is the prayer for rain. It's a very, very important prayer. You should try to be in shul for that. We open the Aron Kodesh for that. It's a very important prayer, very special prayer to pray for rain. Again, rain is blessings and all that. Then we have a custom to say goodbye to the sukkah, to have a light meal. It's not a full holiday meal where you wash and all that, but to eat something in the sukkah before the day of Shmini Atzeret ends is like a farewell. You go to the sukkah, you eat something, there's no prayer, but in your mind, in your heart, it's like a goodbye little sukkah, until next year. Until next year. What? Yeah, it's hard. This year, the good news is next year is very good. Next year, all the holidays are Shabbos Sunday. So you can use all your vacation days this year. Next year. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, just saying that. So then we come to Shul. One more important thing. On Shmini Atzeres night and on the first night of Sukkos, you cannot make Kiddush before it gets dark outside. Because you want to actually be even on Shabbos, you can make Kiddush on Shabbos before it's dark. You're allowed to increase and add to the holiness of Shabbos, and it's still light. You're allowed to make Kiddush at 6 o'clock on Shabbos. On Sukkos, you want to make Sukkot when it's actually a holiday, because the mitzvah, you can bring upon yourself earlier the restrictions of the Chag, but the mitzvah of eating in the Sukkah, and so too the mitzvah of the Kiddush of Shmini Atzeret, is only at night. So you got to wait till Sukkah is over, till dark for Kiddush. Now you can pray before. So about the time. So candle lighting on Shmini Atzeret is 7:34, if I'm not mistaken. No, here at the time. Candle lighting is after 7. So Shabbat ends on Chol at 7:31. So by 7:30 you can make Kiddush by 7 here, and the Simchas Torah is after 7:28 is candle lighting. So already by 7:28 you can already make Kiddush in the Sukkot. I have it here. I printed it out. Okay, you can get a calendar. That's fine. Anyway, so then we make Kiddush, Simchas Torah night. We come to the shul. We do the Atah Reisas. We dance from the Bima, 7 circles of the 7 Hakafot, and then goes all night. It's a lot of fun. We dance. We farbring. It's beautiful. Simchas Torah Day is a very special service. People don't really come for the dancing at night, but Simchas Torah Day is very, very special. Why? First of all, there's a custom. We're going to read the actual very last verses and begin the beginning of Bereshit. So all the celebration at night of the dancing for finishing is. So you go to the party, you forget to be there for the actual, the cutting of the cake, so to say. Yeah. Zota Bracha and Bereshit. It's Chazak. There's a custom that everyone or every man gets a Aliyah to Torah. Some places, they repeat the same 3 Aliyot over and over and over again. They're very, very short. And one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. Other places where we do here, the way they did in 770, is that multiple people get the same Aliyah at once. That's what they did in 770. So I feel very comfortable doing it that way too, where 10 people will get called out for the first Aliyah, 10 people get called out for whatever number, Then you have the Kol Na'ar Aliyah. We give an Aliyah to all the children, which children don't get an Aliyah all year. They all get called up with a man old enough to make the bracha, some of them mitzvah, and they all stand by the beam and they all get an Aliyah and they all make a bracha. Then you have the very, very, very last Aliyah of Torah. It's called Chatan Torah. The Chatan, the groom of the Torah. It's a tremendous honor and privilege to have this honor to read the Torah, the very last verses. So the final Chazak says there's a custom that they would make a big feast afterwards at the Chatan Torah and the Chatan Bereshis. will make very generous vows to charity and call all their friends to a celebration to mark the conclusion and beginning of the reading of the Torah. Meaning they have an obligation almost to give a lot of charity and to invite fans, friends, and family to celebrate with them in this honor, which you don't find with any other honor the whole year. In the midst of like make what? This is the one. Well, there's two. There's the fine. What? Of course you do. But I'm saying to see the Shulchan Aruch saying that a person should make a celebration with his friends on getting this honor is here. The Yom Kippur, there's some very special things to open the Ark for Ne'ilah. I personally know in our shul miracle stories that happen with opening the Ark of Ne'ilah. Not I heard, in our shul, in our Ark. I know people that have had blessings from it. There's other, in general, to get an Aliyah on Yom Kippur is a big honor. To open the Ark is a big honor, of course. I'm saying here to be the one to finish Chatan Torah, to be the one to start Chatan Bereshit, celebration. It's a big honor. You invite your friends to join you in the celebration of this special occasion. People bid for it, they auction for it, and all that. Now, after we finish reading that, so we have three Torahs. The first Torah is to end Mizot HaBracha. The second is to begin Bereshis. And the third is for the Maftir and the Haftorah. After we do the Maftir and Haftorah, before we put the Torahs back, in the Siddur, like another 2 pages of beautiful, beautiful prayers. We say describing how the angels were arguing with Moshe. Moshe al-Amara, Moshe al-Amara. Moses went up on high. He went up on high. We repeated it 3 times. And the angels came and gathered. Who is this coming on high to take the Torah from us? And Moshe answered them and he said, I came to the Torah and God decided to give the Torah to the human beings. And we praise God and we say, Torah. Those words, you rejoice in the celebration of the Torah, new kavod Torah, give honor, all that we read, all that, it's in the Siddur after the reading of the Torah and all that. We read that, and then we bring the Torah back to the Ark, and then there's Musaf. By that time, we already said L'chaim, and we danced, and it was already, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And if you're still hanging around by then, we're already a little excited. So we flip the chazim, we tie up the chazim, we do all this fun stuff to make it a little more interesting. And that, my friends, is the story of Simchas Torah. Okay? Laila Tov. Hello, Marsha. Hello, Hadassah. Hello, Ravit. Hope you all enjoyed. See you, Bezrat Hashem. Now, we are done for the Chagim. We're done, Bezrat Hashem. But right after the holidays, we're going to start doing the laws of kosher. Okay? I'll tell you this actually. So JLI, let's start the stream first. JLI.